violence or no other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
That breaking news just moments ago, police announcing 2 people have been arrested for a reign of terror at convenience and donut stores across Southern California this week. Police say the men killed 3 people and shot 3 others.
God dang, I told you. These super thieving gremlins are on demon time. And like I said, there are a lot of serial killers, super serial gremlins, all right, in the community. And people don't understand that this was a serial crime spree, okay, at random. And, you know, they were looking for bread, but they were also looking for a thrill. It's just tragic.
CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili is live in Santa Ana, where the announcement was made within the hour. Michelle?
That's right, Susie. 2 men, a 20-year-old from Los Angeles and a 44-year-old who lives across the street from him.
Wow. So you got a 20-year-old and a 44-year-old. And like I said, the OGs failed us. You got a grown-ass man taking a young dude and I mean, he really just did this dude in, because instead of taking a guy who, you know, was like 15, 16, maybe 13, so he possibly couldn't get tried as an adult, he took a 20-year-old young buck who was ready to get his feet wet in the streets. So this is just an epic failure of the elders, which continues to happen in the community. And this is the result.
Were arrested just after 1 o'clock today. Now, the younger man, who police say is identified as Malik Patt, is
Pooh Shiesty mask, Pooh Shiesty mask, Pooh Shiesty mask,
is the alleged gunman. Officials won't say how the other suspect is connected to these 7-Eleven robberies and murders, but the LAPD confirms that the pair are also linked to a murder in North Hills on July 9th and are being looked at for a number of crimes in the LA area.
We are thrilled to officially announce a conclusion to this multiple county crime spree that terrorized our neighborhoods, our communities.
This was a reign of terror. To be thinking that you go to a convenience store or a donut shop or a sandwich shop and to get shot in the face, to call your loved ones with your last gasps for breath, or to be a clerk behind the cash register just helping another customer.
Right now, Malik Patt is being held on no bail in the Santa Ana jail. He's accused of shooting Jason Harrell in the head at a Riverside 7-Eleven on Monday, and then killing 7-Eleven clerk in Brea by the name of Matt Hirsch.
Wow.
Little relief, almost, for his mother, Melissa, and I are trying to deal with our surroundings now.
I'm extremely disgusted with the person that did this, and I think that it's extremely inhumane and senseless.
Okay, so she's got a lot of strong words for these super gremlins on demon time, but there's always a but. She is in Cali. We know the politics. She's absolutely woke, most likely. Okay. Just can kind of tell, especially with the nose ring. And this is horrible that her father was taken out, bro. It really is. But you always have to wonder, what type of policy, what type of narrative were you supporting when the gateway of crime was opened up? Were you supporting the defund the police? Were you supporting the criminal justice reform? You know, is that where your heart laid before, you know, this horrible event happened? Something to think about. Not victim blaming, not saying it's their fault or anything like that. But what I am saying is a lot of people in LA have opened up the floodgates because of their woke politics and their woke political ideologies. And, you know, it has really done a number on the safety of the city. Okay, it's not safe to live there in any parts of Cali, damn near.
And I think that the gun violence needs to stop.
Well, you heard her. Gun violence. That's all it is. That's all it is, just gun violence.
Now, inside that news conference, law enforcement would not disclose how it was that they were able to track these suspects down in Los Angeles. We also know that 7-Eleven, the corporation, offered a $100,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of the gunman. It's unclear whether anyone tipped law enforcement off. We do know from District Attorney Todd Spitzer that there is no bail. This Malik Patt will not be able to bail out, and he is potentially looking at the death penalty. That's the latest live here in Santa Ana. I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
All right, Michelle, thank you so much.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
After a nearly week-long manhunt, the search is over for the gunman behind the deadly string of robberies at Southland 7-Elevens. 2 men are under arrest tonight in the senseless attacks. Let's get right to our Christian Cordero. She's live in Santa Ana with some troubling new details, and she's hearing from one of the victims who came face-to-face with the killer. Christian.
Mark, for him and all of these other families, today is about closure. It's about accountability. It's about getting one step closer to trying to understand how such a violent, random attack could have happened. We don't know exactly what led detectives.
Well, there is no understanding, okay? The only understanding that you need to know is that the super gremlins are on demon time.
To these arrests, but one thing they said was that whether we know it or not, everyone leaves a trail. Tonight, cities in 4 counties across Southern California can put the search for a violent suspect to rest. Investigators have spent the entire week looking for the man who robbed a string of 7-Elevens, shooting 5 people, 2 fatally. All 6 armed robberies happened before sunrise Monday.
It chilled really our communities because we know 7-Elevens are the quintessential convenience store.
The arrest happened this afternoon at a home on West 23rd Street in Los Angeles. There they found the primary suspect, distinct on surveillance only by a unique print on his sweatshirt. That is 20-year-old Malik Patt from Los Angeles.
And he had the Runts sweatshirt, okay. So he was smoking that za. He was smoking that gas. All right. Definitely giving a bad name for gas smokers out here. Okay, and we already know what type of demon time activities the Pooh Shiesty mask comes with. So it's a horrible combination. Obviously, if a guy like this walked into the store, I'm pulling the strap immediately. There's no way you're convincing me that this guy is not looking for trouble, wearing a hoodie and a Pooh Shiesty mask. Pooh Shiesty mask. Pooh Shiesty mask.
From Los Angeles, police made another arrest across the street.
A second suspect was arrested, Jason Payne, 44 years old, city of Los Angeles.
And they were neighbors. They were neighbors. This is what goes down in the community. All right. Instead of getting together for, you know, a game night or something like that, maybe play chess outside in your front yard. You're getting together and planning a murderous crime spree for basically nothing. I mean, what are you going to get at the 7-Eleven? $7.11?
It's unclear how Payne is connected. Investigators haven't elaborated on what led them to these men, but they do have reasons to believe the 7-Eleven robberies were not the only crimes they committed. Police have connected Patt with another armed robbery in Santa Ana that day and a homicide in Los Angeles 2 days prior. The victims today shared resounding sighs of relief.
Grateful. I was very thankful that they were caught. This could have turned into a long old process.
Russ Browning was shot across the face while sitting at the La Habra 7-Eleven on his way to work Monday morning. He is expected to be okay eventually.
I know they did a lot of stitch work on my upper mouth.
Lord have mercy. Look what these super gremlins did to this man.
And it took out all my teeth on this side, upper and lower.
With the help of family, friends, and strangers who have shared support, Russ's spirits are still intact.
They got my man looking like Conway the Machine in this mug. Y'all know Conway from the rapper from Buffalo. You know, we did the story on Benny the Butcher after the Peyton Gendron situation in the convenience store, in the Tom's convenience store in Buffalo. We did that Benny the Butcher story. Well, yeah, Conway, he's a guy, he raps with Benny the Butcher and whatnot. And, you know, his face, he got the screw face too. And like his mouth kind of sits sideways. He talk a little weird. But they messed my guy up here so that he's looking the same way.
He told us he's happy the person who shot him can't hurt anyone else and wants a conviction to assure that.
Damn.
But if he had the chance to come face to face again,
I would forgive him.
No, Lord have mercy. It's not just the sisters forgiving him. If a dude did this to me and I had the chance to go face to face with him, I'm putting, okay, I'm Jalen Walker in that dude.
Because who knows what his upbringing was like. There's a lot.
Bruh. Who knows what, and they are woke. This dude shot you in the face, almost killed you, and you're worried about his upbringing? These people will make every excuse in the book for these super gremlins on demon time.
To why a person does what he was doing.
you may remember 7-Eleven was offering a $100,000 reward for anyone who has and shares information that leads to an arrest. It's unclear if anybody will actually get that money or if this was detective work through and through. Russ Browning, who you heard from, his son, set up a GoFundMe page. So far, it has raised $15,000.
Well, we just received some details from the Santa Ana Police Department, which is where we are live this afternoon, Marla and Christine. As you mentioned, 3 wounded, 2 dead in what authorities have described as a reign of terror that began early in the morning on July 11th. Let's take you to some of that video from one of the scenes. As you see, one of the wounded who fortunately survived being loaded into an ambulance. This was in La Habra, one of the final robberies that morning. The two victims have been identified as Matthew Rule, who was a customer just trying to help, apparently, 24 years old. He was killed in Santa Ana at a 7-Eleven outside it, I'm told. And then the second fatality, a 40-year-old clerk at the Brea 7-Eleven by the name of Matthew Hirsch. Now, this is the suspect that has been the focus of so much attention. One of 2 arrested today, believed to be Malik Patt, 20 years old, arrested along with an alleged accomplice in Los Angeles this afternoon. Let's listen to some of what authorities told us.
This was a reign of terror. To be thinking that you go to a convenience store or a donut shop or a sandwich shop and to get shot in the face.
In the shadow of this loss and of this grief, we do want to applaud the efforts of everybody here and those countless names of tireless work that was given to us by men and women who worked very hard on this case.
The identification and apprehension of these suspects would have not been possible without the cooperation of the multi-team comprised of crime analysts and investigators working on this case. And truly, their tireless efforts led to this successful outcome, and they deserve our sincere gratitude.
The two suspects under arrest, as I mentioned, Malik Patt, 20 years old, Jason Payne, 44 years old.
Notice how in this report they didn't even show a picture of the suspects. It is OV. There ain't gonna be no solution coming to this problem for a long time.
Apparently they were neighbors on West 23rd Street in Los Angeles. Now, Marla and Christine, one of the key questions, of course, what led authorities to identify these two? Not surprisingly, they don't want to divulge too many of their investigative techniques, but they say that technology, whether it was cell phone tracing, debit card tracing, an electronic footprint was key.
An electronic footprint. So what does that mean? Nobody in the community came up, did the right thing, and told. So give no credit to the community for catching these serial super gremlins on demon time. Okay? No credit goes to the community for catching these dudes. They went back to the hood and they was kicking it. Everything was good. Everything was gravy. They just came up and they were about to do it again the next day.
Possibly even vehicle descriptions. Now, they also have linked one homicide in the San Fernando Valley that the LAPD is investigating to these suspects, and there's a possibility of several more. So they're painting a picture of just this widespread reign of terror that went on for a period of time from at least July 9th through July 11th. Now, remember, the 7-Eleven Corporation has put up a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrests and convictions in this case. We asked authorities about that, and they said, again, not surprising, it's way too early in all of this to determine who, if anyone, would even be eligible for that reward. Marla, Christine?
All right, Phil, thanks. We were wondering the connection between the two. So the 20-year-old is the prime suspect. The 44-year-old neighbor is accused of assisting.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, in school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.